Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We know there are a lot of interesting events, so hopefully we will also provide something interesting for you to share with us today. So I will pass the floor now to our Vice President of Alentejo, Carmen Carvalheira. Carmen Carvalheira is the Vice President of Alentejo Regional Coordination and Development Commission. She's responsible for spatial planning, environment, geographic information systems and inspection, and also responsible for the coordination of the Circular Economy Forum of Alentejo. She has a degree in civil engineering, master in urban engineering, PhD in civil engineering in the specialty of urbanism, spatial planning, and transport. Thank you, and I'll give you now the floor.
Alentejo is a huge region in its geographical extension, and also because of that, incredibly diverse in its characteristics, which leaves all of us who have governmental functions a profound and constant challenge every day. However, it is a region of very low density, a region that has less than 10% of the country's total population. And just a moment. No, I think it's okay. Sorry again. I was saying that it is a very low density region, and because we have less than 10% of the country's total population, and this population has a growing age problem. Therefore, development and governance strategy for Alentejo must focus on attracting people, qualified people, taking advantage of the enormous potential that exists here to be more and more attractive. And the truth is that we have good development, we have already good development indicators, but we know that the road is long and it has to be done with the best partners and creating successful projects and policies. It is a territory with several kilometers of coastline. It is a territory with a very rich cultural and landscape heritage. It is a territory that is capable of creating very high quality products that are already recognized all over the world. And it is a territory that has a top and varied gastronomy. So tourism emerges as a fundamental tool to get us where we want to go. But tourism must be accompanied by measures that guarantee sustainability policies for the production of green and sustainable energies, policies to promote transversal practice for the circular economy, a very effective policy of mobility strategies that at all levels here, especially because we have here located one of the most important ports in the world, able to quickly connect to all of Europe. So, navigability, rails, land and air mobility are also part of the governance in Alentejo. The coverage of a quality Wi-Fi network throughout the territory and the creation of a database on everything that is done here and the respective treatment of this data is fundamental for us, especially because we want to share this information to the world. For this all, and for a few more reasons with which I will not prolong myself, we want to be partners with everyone and we want to be part of European policies. For now, Alentejo want to welcome you here as tourists, but also to invite you all to come to live and to work here. Thanks a lot. Stay with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carmen, for this beautiful presentation of Alentejo. Going on with our agenda, the next speaker is Paula Peiro, Executive Coordinator of Aurora. Paula holds a master's degree in business administration from the University of Valencia and has worked since 2030 as a project developer in the European funding program like H2020, Interreg, Erasmus, and much more. Please, Paula, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning to everyone. So in this presentation today, I want to talk a bit about an introduction of H2020, Aurora project. In this case, Aurora project, the title is Architecture for Unified Regional Open Digital Ecosystems for the Smart Communities and Rural Areas. The project started in January of this year, of 2021. We are 25 partners from 10 European countries. We have 8 pilot regions, more than 5 domains that I will explain later about farming, tourism, mobility, energy, health, and others. And the duration of the project is 4 years. General approach of Aurora is to be more and better broadband infrastructure, to have better quality and reliability of services, to support local and gather and coordinate actors and work locally, to get better knowledge transfer to improve digital, to get better cooperation and stronger communication among the stakeholders, and to integrate new people and young people. Here are the 8 pilot regions of Aurora that I will just name them. The first is digital services, creating critical mass in rural areas of Alentejo, Portugal. The second in Austria, sustainable mobility, smart tourism and smart energy systems in southern Burgenland. The third, home-based empowered well-being and health service in Arctic in Norway. The fourth is in Norway, also home-based empowered well-being. The fourth, sorry, about tourism and mobility services. The 5, improving public service and energy advisory in rural area. 6, in Catalonia in Spain, bioenergy production and residues in Penedès wine region. 7, in Piedmont region in Italy, about farming and social ecotourism in rural area. And 8, in Finland, about intelligent logistic data system for Lapland. So I wanted to introduce a bit Aurora because in this presentation I want to show you our consortium, our partners, the people who is real working every day to do this during these 4 years, all our project. So I think I take this opportunity to show you all the entities that are behind this project. The first one is the CCDR Alentejo, the project leader, and is a decentralized body of Portuguese central administration promoting sustainable and regional development in Alentejo region. And then we have Sintef, is a Scandinavian technology innovation company carrying out industrial research and development. Atos, which is a global IT service and consultancy in digital transformation, notably in energy sector with a strong experience in ICT energy systems and data management. CERT in Greece, the Center for Research and Technology, HELAS, is a Greek research innovation center that provides technical and technological support. Bosonit in Spain is a Spanish data analytics software company specialized analytics and visualization making using big data and machine learning. Bavenir is a Slovak SME experienced in ICT innovation in the field of IoT and its application in smart energy and smart transportation. Universidad Politécnica de Madrid is the largest Spanish technological university that develops the semantic interoperability approach in this project in Aurora. And Parallel is a Portuguese high-tech SME that develops digital technologies and provides consulting services on digitalization. Smart Innovation Norway leads clusters of IT companies and academic environments in research and innovation, applied science and digital solutions in the smart city projects. Hafen is a Norwegian SME specialized in intelligent transport systems and mobility services, smart energy solutions, ICT, security and safety, commercialization, marketing, and standardization. Umeå University, the Department of Applied Physics and Electronics, is an expert in energy efficiency in buildings and thermochemical energy conversion. Digipolis supports industrial services business in the Arctic and circular economy industry. The European Center for Renewable Energy Gassing, EEE, acts as a local energy agency for the Austrian municipalities. The Tourism Association region in Austria is a regional development office for municipalities. Luxactive, also in Austria, specialized in e-tourism and applying data science. Environment Park is an Italian scientific and technological cluster providing solutions for energy saving, waste disposal, clean energy, new materials, and business investigation innovation. Tesori della Terra is an Italian small-size farmers cooperative involved in social farming. Aguasol is a Spanish SME that provides engineering, consultancy, and research services promoting innovative solutions to reduce the impact associated to the use of energy. Cluster Bioenergia Catalunya is an NGO representing the bioenergy sector and promoting sustainable use of bioenergy. Irradiar, Science for Evolution, is multidisciplinary, multicultural team dealing with urban, local, and regional governance and public policies. Universidad de la Iglesia de Deusto, entidad religiosa, is a higher education institution with dedicated teams to research IoT, knowledge modeling, big data, open call, and human environment interaction. European Digital SME Alliance is a network representing the ICT sector that contributes to policy discussions at European level. FEBEA, the European Federation of Ethical and Alternative Banks, gathers financial institutions, aims to finance social and solidarity-based economy. The University of Oulu, Structures and Construction Technology Research Unit in Finland, research on intelligent systems for construction, transport, logistics, and built environment. And Narvik is a municipality in Norway that supports local economic growth and community development. So these are our 25 partners that we are so proud of, all of them that are working hard every day to achieve all the goals, all the objectives that we have in Aurora. So I think it's important to talk about all of them and to, from here, to say thank you for all the effort that they are working day by day. So thank you. And the next, here are my contacts. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula, for presenting the Aurora project to us in brief. And I would pass now the floor to my colleague, Rui Pedro Henriques, which is Irradiar Technology Director. He works in the areas of electrical and computer engineering, focusing on the field of collaborative networks. So, Rui, the floor is yours.
So, good morning, all, and welcome to this 19th European Week of the Regions and Cities. And I am here talking a little bit about the Technology Committee at Aurora, which is a committee that is mainly focused on creating the better and the best solution for the architecture of Aurora, but that has also one of the major challenges, that is to address the needs and to address the desires, let's say, of the communities. And so to do that, I will be going through the name of the project itself. So architecture, as Paul already said. And so architecture for unified, regional, and open digital ecosystems for smart communities and rural areas large-scale application. And I'm going through each one of these words, almost, trying to explain how this connects to communities and how this, how rural is aiming to strengthen and to keep the identity of the communities while giving them the digital tools to enhance what they already have, their strengths and their identities. So unified, we aim at creating a single homogeneous architecture and approach which is able to answer for the singularities of the regions. So it's not a one size fits all. It's a one solution that can be adopted and adapted by each of the communities in order to serve the community, but not to replace what it already has. Regional. Some of the issues, some of the barriers that we are identifying, and that is one of the main goals also, is to identify the barriers so we can know how to overcome them. Some of it is infrastructural, and it is not feasible, it's not common, or is not a good solution or good practice to deal with it in a very small local level. And so bringing up the regions can help develop that, and also to attract and to develop the policies that are needed to provoke and to invoke the change. Open. It needs to be open, it needs to be interoperable, it needs to be secure, it needs to be auditable. It's not a time to be, again, vendor locked in. And so it is a time to open up things and to create the basis from which we can build upon, and not starting again from scratch because anything got again closed up. Digital. Of course, this is what we are talking about, is digitalization, but in a sense that we want to bring new light to local strengths, to economy, to culture, and so to keep the regions, to keep the smaller communities alive and well, but giving them the digital tools that will allow them to do this in the 21st century. An ecosystem, because we need although the identities and the culture and so on are different, some of the needs are pretty much common. And so why not to bring up together to have better ideas for everyone, and having co-creation, co-development of solutions within the same architecture. And we can, with this, we can ease up the adoption, and we can speed the replication and how things get adopted and get used by the communities, also bringing a sense of trust. The smart communities. The idea is to maintain each local's culture and identity while not giving up on innovative solutions. So we are not trying to change what already happens. We are trying to bring new tools that can be used, not forcibly used, but that can be used by communities to create something better with what they already have. The rural areas, it's more than 80% of the European area. And so it's time to bring them on board and to create solutions that, again, are not one fits all, because this is not what rural areas and strong and identified communities want. And again, large scale, it allows to have some gains in how things are done, and not be creating one of each solution to each of the locals, because this again is one of the issues that we are having right now. Also, this creates more resilience in the solutions, because they can be adapted to more locations, and that they can be also economically more interesting economically. Just to give you a little bit of more technical light into what we are doing, I wish only to bring you these two words or terms, one of which is semantic. And so we need to give more data to our data so that it can be better understood by everyone. the reduced lock-ins and enhance interoperability. So we want our data to be explained by itself and to have all the information that is needed, and so that we can achieve what is here in this diagram in the middle, that maybe it's not technically the more correct, but the idea is that the communities are connected ones to another's and through services. And so the services can and will be used by communities, but they can nonetheless connect to each other. And DLT, this is distributed ledger technology. It's maybe you know it better by blockchain, which is somewhat similar, because it is distributed. So we don't want one single point of failure. We don't want to need to trust someone or some entity in order to use these services. We want to just be able to go there and use it and scale it as much as we want, so that we can have the opportunity to have better services to everyone while keeping it secure. And so thank you. This is what I had to say, and I am now giving the floor to my colleagues. And any questions, feel free to contact me through this email address.
Well, thank you, Rui. Thanks for this insightful presentation of the technical achievement and objectives of Aurora. Now for our final speech, we have Marcus Nogueira, Head Office of Alentejo, Permanent Representation to the European Union, and Coordinator of the H2020 Aurora project. Marco has a mastery of mechanical engineering and has authored numerous publications as a researcher in the field of mathematical modeling. In his career, Marcus has led the development of significant number of projects and programs for public health entities, with particular emphasis on city and region in Portugal and other member states of the European Union. Please, I can already see the presentation, so please, Marcus, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrea. Good morning to everyone. Good afternoon to the ones that are already in afternoon in the time zones in Europe. This is a special moment for celebrating that's the European Week of Regions. Hope next year we can be all together in Brussels as usual to celebrate this Week of Regions. And that's also an opportunity to show how important it is to build an Europe of cooperation between regions, and how critical may be the region's role in indeed providing Europe with innovation and advanced solutions. So this is a moment for celebration. That's also a moment for sharing. So we are here only to call all of you to come together, to work with us, to be part of this adventure, and indeed to join Aurora as within the scope of cooperation and the multiple instruments we have to achieve that cooperation. I think that's also an opportunity to thank. I'm also the permanent representative in Brussels, head of EU office for Alentejo, so that's very important to show that a regional authority such as CCDR, under the leadership of our Vice President, Mrs. Carvalheira, is indeed leading the innovation action for the regions to develop their own smart communities and to get them cooperating under an environment of interoperability, a digital environment, safe environment, transparent environment of interoperability, in order to build a blockchain of services for rural regions that so often are less serviced than urban ones. So that's also an opportunity to balance Europe in terms of rural and urban, in terms of less density, high density, in terms of emerging regions, innovation regions, or even in geography, because this time in such a critical project as Aurora leads for Europe, we have a region leading it under the leadership of Mrs. Carvalheira, a region leading it that's in the periphery of Europe. So we are Atlantic region, Atlantic country, and indeed capable of working with so many other different geographies, as the Arctic in Norway, as the Alps in Austria, and also a little bit in Italy, Catalonia in Spain, our colleagues from Finland and Sweden. So indeed bringing this common framework and common environment for digital progress in each one of these regions. And this digital progress is needed because without it, we don't have our communities, our rural community strength. So we have digital to make the communities to be globally competitive, but also digital as a tool to improve, reinforce, and making more capable the regions, the communities we have in the regions in order to keep the strength of rural Europe, where we have so much of that community spirit and that capability of indeed providing innovative and creative solutions to support people. Very often our regions are also demographically challenged. So we need also to give opportunities to the ones that have been voiceless, digitally voiceless, and bringing them also to the digital opportunities, the digital world, and with our blockchain of services, providing them what they need to have better lives and also to take better care of nature, sustainability, agroecology, for instance, as so much is a concern in rural regions and also Atlantic or maritime ones. That's also an opportunity to thank all of our partners. We are very proud, as my colleague Paula Pero said, my colleague in the coordination, that's indeed amazing to work with this group of partners. We have been wonderful experience sharing since the beginning of writing the proposal, sharing so many advanced ideas. We are very proud of having done so well under such a competitive program as H2020, and also under the scope of Living in You, European Rural Development Networks, and a number of other platforms in Europe we are involved with. Thank you also for Rui, the speaker before me, for presenting the, I would say, the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure and the digital environment we are putting together in order to allow the regions to share a common framework and so scale up the solution. So we have a project that started with that digital environment, is moving for a blockchain of services for rural regions, is opening calls for innovation in order to have from all those regions new services, new ventures, new entrepreneurial ideas, and after opening for an investment platform where we can scale up with a number of regions, scale up the solutions, creating the dense network of smart communities. Europe so much needs this network of smart communities, a dense network, in order to achieve the digital decade, the objectives of digital fairness, openness, and competitiveness, and then to be capable in the end of the decade to be the best prepared continent in with the digital, a number of digital services, and also the possibility of having digital to be shared as an opportunity for all, and respecting proximity, but indeed achieving the global competitiveness. So that's more than anything else we could say today. It's indeed a moment of celebration. So that's the European Week of Regions. We have a lot of Spanish partners. That's also their national holidays. So that's a compliment to our Spanish colleagues, and indeed an opportunity, this event, to be part of this wonderful annual event, the Week of Regions, and to open our project for cooperation to everyone coming with new ideas, innovative ideas, and making the smart communities we are developing to be indeed the human face, I would say, of all the progress, all the movement, and all the platforms of smart city solutions, smart community solutions, digital IoT solutions, and now the blockchain of services with this multi-interoperable environment. So now we are going to have the opportunity of opening the floor to our partners, and also opening the floor to the audience, of course, to ask questions. And please come to us with new ideas. We are here open for cooperation and indeed enjoying very much the opportunity of being part of this European ecosystem of innovation. So Andre and Flavia, please, we have now the debate, just follow with the event. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Marcos, for sharing also with us your view on the related to Aurora. So now I'll pass to Elsa to launch this this debate. Elsa is Irradiar CEO. Elsa has been in charge of several projects in diversified fields such as creative industry, social innovation, green and innovative procurement, among other topics. So Elsa, thank you. I'll pass you the floor now to launch this final debate.
Thank you, Flavia. I'm having some technical constraints, but I hope that you can hear me correctly. First of all, I would like to thank for our moderators and for our excellent speakers. And now it's my turn to give the floor to the discussion, let us say. First, I would like just to share with you some thoughts. I think that the European Week of Cities and Regions this year is really a very, is addressing a very interesting and real, real vivid topic that is together for recovery. And it's also a way for us to try to understand how this project, this Aurora project that we share, is contributing to this recovery. Because, well, I was trying to pick up some of the aspects that were present during our presentations, the previous presentations, and I could have some I can share with you some of the buzzwords that were related to attracting people to the more, to the lower density areas. Also, the interesting pilots that Paula presented us and the different aspects that they are covering. Also, Rui pointed out how the needs, even though we are covering a very different areas in Europe, how the needs and the challenges are somehow common. Also, Marcos was focusing several aspects that are related to interoperability. What I would like here to use as to launch this debate is how do our project partners specifically see that how is Aurora going to contribute to addressing these issues, and how is Aurora going to contribute to this recovery and to this perhaps slow shifting of the paradigm of how we use space and how we are each and every day shifting from living just in the big and medium large cities to trying to embrace the rural challenge and the rural way of living, supporting in digital. So I would like to see perhaps if someone wants to raise hands or to write in the chat, but these are some of the challenges. And if you think that these challenges are rubbish, just launch a question and participate, because this is a session for all and not only for people presenting. So please, I can also try to invite someone. So perhaps one of the project partners that are attending want to share something about our project. Well, if not, I have to go again to the presenters. And Marcus, do you want, we have a question and then I will go back to Marcus. The question is, perhaps you could elaborate more on your perspective on what makes the digital services offered by the Aurora platform unique and relevant for other Horizon Europe cross-cutting initiatives. So perhaps I could leave this question either to Marcus or Rui. The question is in the chat, so if you want to read it again and then perhaps elaborate a little further.
Okay, better from here, perhaps.
Yes.
Yes, we had
you.
also some other, I would say, some other questions on the same direction sent by partners recently. So I think that in general, I think the point is really to keep it open. So we are creating the infrastructure for the regions to share solutions. So indeed, the point is scaling up the space, creating a single space where those solutions can coexist, can interface, can share data, can share interface environments, and then provide the capability for each one of the services offered to scale up. There is a very good example that our colleagues from Austria are developing car sharing solution, particularly oriented or focused on low density regions or large regions, so large geography region. And that's the same solution we need here in Alentejo, and perhaps also valid for the geography, different geography in the Arctic Norway, where the density is very low. Okay, but the best way is indeed to use a common environment where we can scale up that solution in order to make it be sustainable and so be useful and shared at the continent level in Europe. So that's the approach, is to keep it open. So I would say the added value, it's indeed to provide that environment where we can operate under multi-interoperability conditions. We can operate services in several regions, sharing the possibilities of development and continued updating, which is also important for the security aspects, because it keeps the solutions to be continuously tested and continuously improved in terms of safety. So they belong to all, they are cared by all. And those capabilities of scaling up solutions are also relevant in order to add new services that can benefit from an environment of co-development. Having multi-interoperability means that we can have added solutions or added services from several origins, serving several regions at the same time. So scaling up, making it be co-developed and co-designed together with the communities. So we have communities within the regions and communities using the solutions, sorry, that are digital prosumers. So they are either co-develop, co-designing, co-creating the solutions, but also benefiting from using those solutions. So they become digital prosumers and they offer to the community their experience as bringing, co-developing and co-creating, but they also use the solutions and they benefit from the added value. To do that, it's needed to have this common framework, this environment, this secured, data transparent, multi-interoperable environment that allow the blockchain of services, and then to offer it to all the regions. You may say, okay, but you have only 8 in the project. That's quite small to start. That's the pilot. That's the pilot network. Indeed, in each one of the regions, as it was mentioned already, we have several use cases that all together become those pilots, and then it is open for new innovation from companies to come, and also open for new regions to join with an investment platform, having an European program to invest on the solution. So that's more or less the offer. I think I answered broadly to the question, perhaps not exactly. So I don't know who, if you want to make it more precise, technically wise.
Just to add one comment that I think is important is that we are not only creating a solution, we are creating something where solutions can reside. And so it will not be closed. So in the end of the project, it will not be closed. And we don't need, as I was telling you during my presentation, we don't need to have one identity that is needed to be trusted and so on. So what we are creating now is testing solutions in a broader solution, let me say, that can be left open. So this data brokerage middleware will stay working after on. And if new technology, new systems, new ideas come to mind, or new communities come to the project or to the after project, they will be able to connect again and still be up to date. And so that is to keep things from being obsolete prior to time. I was just listening one thing this morning about this. And so as we have the right to repair that is being brought up, this is the right to keep things up to date and to keep things working even after the project ends.
Okay, we do not sit down, please, because I have a question that I think is addressed to you, so you can go back. And the question is, and that's somehow a challenging question, but a rather interesting and a very pragmatic one, I would say. That is, how do you think that technology can be an advantage and not a form of exclusion, as we have many times, very often, elderly people living in rural areas? So how is Aurora going to contribute to be a solution rather than an additional problem? And this is an hard one, I would say.
Yeah, this is a thing that is a long time problem. The solution is, we think, more connected to how things are used for people and not imposed to people. And so that is to say that maybe elderly people have some issues with dealing, for example, with small smartphones and so on, because it's not easy for the fingers, and it may not be easy for the eyes and so on. But if all they want to do is to, let's say, connect something, maybe they don't need a smartphone to use the technology. The idea is to make technology as smart as possible so that they can press an easy button for them. And behind that easy button, there is a lot of technology that makes things easier and calls someone that they may bring help to them, or that connects some device at their home, or that does both, or that makes some annotation to their medical record, or so on. So the idea is to bring technology to make things easier, to work for the people and for the right people. So that is to say, if we are creating a solution for the elderly, we are not thinking of a solution that can also work for youngsters and for toddlers, because they are different. They work differently and they have different difficulties. And so that is to say that technology needs to work for people.
Thank you very much, Rui. You were really very enlightening. I have at least two other questions to address. I think Marcos wants to participate also. Go ahead, Marcos.
Yes, thank you. Just to make a very, very selfish point. That's indeed Alentejo is the region leading this project, and there is one reason for that. And that's exactly the one behind that question. We have a very strong community, a very strong rural community, and we have a government that is in the region. And today we have with us representing the leadership of the region, our vice president. And that has been present since the beginning, that we have to build something that is inclusive. And digital will be there forever. There is a digital transformation. We can't stop it. The point is to do it to be a good thing and not a bad thing. And if we make it concentrated and we make one for all solution, it's excluding. If we allow the solutions to be participated, if we bring the right skills, if we make sure that everyone is included, even the ones that are still voiceless on the digital world, and that's not a problem of technology, that's a problem of government, and that's a will of the region, then we will succeed. So we have to keep the resilience of our communities, which is something that we risk to lose if we don't do it well with digital. If we keep the resilience of our communities, to do so with digital, we have to include them and to make them to be part of the solutions and to be user of those solutions. So when we say, and we are the first to say it, when we say that we want communities that are digital prosumers, so using technology, consuming technology, but also delivering and co-designing solutions with the right capabilities, capacities, and skills, is because we have totally clear in our minds that we can't fail keeping the resilience of our communities, even with the digital transformation and the pressures coming with it. So that's totally part of the program, and that's very much the reason why why Aurora is responding to that challenge with an open environment where services can come and go, open in a blockchain perspective, without a concentrated entity allowing or not allowing those services to come. So they may emerge from the communities. That's exactly to respond, keeping the resilience, keeping people on board to respond to the digital transformation.
Thank you very much, Marcos. And now we are really running out of time because our room will close within a couple of minutes. I think there were still some questions that were not answered, but I kindly invite you to visit us on our virtual stand in European Week for Regions and Cities app. So please go there and talk to us. And in the meanwhile, and before closing the session, it was a huge opportunity that was somehow given to us by European Weeks of Cities and Regions initiative. And of course, our host, our physical host, as this is kind of an hybrid event, CCDR Alentejo, namely with Vice President Mrs. Carmen Carvalheira. Thank you. Thank you for all the people that spent this last hour with us. And please visit us on our stand and follow our project, Aurora. Everyone is invited to be with us, to participate, to enlarge our stakeholder group, and to be with us in this very, very interesting and challenging endeavor. Thank you so much, and hope to see you in our stand. Bye-bye.